There's a dragon that lives inside of me. I've always known, but I've tried to ignore it. When I couldn't ignore it, I tried to push it down. I'm so stupid. You're not stupid. That sounds badass. Right? But I didn't let it out, and then, you know, chop chop. And now that dragon is pretty much a one-track revenge beast. But enough about me. What's inside of you, stranger? Nothing but darkness. No dragon, just a lot of fire. No dragon, just fire. A raging inferno. In fact, I can to burn the whole place down if I let it out. Maybe I am the dragon? I'm sorry, but you're no dragon. And breathing fire. That's some Hobbit type nonsense. I'm the ascendant of a proud samurai. Our dragons are on a whole other level. Looks like there was only room for one dragon inside Spirit after all. Just as things really heated up, you hear a flurry of footsteps behind you and quickly spin around, ready to fend off whatever new danger has popped up on this strange island. Only to find out that it's Dwight and Claudette sprinting across the beach, clipboards in hand. They're waving in the air above their heads. It is very important that we stick to the itinerary and we attend each event as scheduled. Playing sick of cute fort points was not a part of the event's activities. That's strictly slotted in for after campfire story time. At this rate, we'll be late. Playing sick? No, Alice. No time for excuses. Well, there is, but that's scheduled for after what comes after the fort. Go, go, go. Once everyone has gathered at the fire pit, Dwight and Claudette quickly made an announcement. We're not going to blame anyone in particular, but someone, and we're not going to say who, so don't worry, you. Hasn't been sticking around to the schedule. That means that we're behind on time for evening activities. And we'll only have time for one person to share their spooky story, nighttime story. Just one story? But story time is my favorite activity. This is a narrative-heavy experience. You're telling us that one person gets to share? How will we decide who? Oh great, we have to decide as a group? That never goes well. Whoever did this, step up now. I swear I will be angry. I'll merely chop your head clean off. No fuss, no muss. A voice trembling, you realize this is probably it for you, but you embrace your fate. Sorry everyone. I think they're talking about me, to be honest. Still don't understand how this whole schedule thing works. I guess I lost track of time. While I was passed out. Been there before, even though it's taking some pressure off of me. Which is an absolute dream to come true. And it's really fair to pick on the newbie. Seriously, has anything here ever happened on schedule even once? Damn it, Donald, if you flex that authority gimmick one more time, so help me. I'll snap your head so quickly, and I'll drown you in your blood. In his blood. Cynthia, Fuss and Muss are back on. You two know I love to slash and slice. We all know you love to kill. It's almost all you talk about. Nobody named any names. Who even knows any names? Not us. I announced my name. I re-announced my name. Who's Donald? Who's Dwight? Who even knows anyone? Or anymore? Call me nobody. But still, we gotta get started on story time, so... Nils, who do you think should go? Oh damn it, that's a name. Please put someone quickly so that this tropical vacation doesn't turn into a bloodbath. Let's go. Let's go with Spirit. I'll choose you, Spirit. Whoa. This entire experience is being carefully crafted to avoid an IP infringement lawsuit. Let's be careful with the catchphrases, will you? Really? You want to hear me? Spirit huffs and dramatically rolls her eyes as she gets to her feet in front of the campfire. Don't let her talk you out of it. She's straight with ghost stories. I don't know where she gets it, but she comes up with the serious stuff. Seriously disturbing. Even to me, and I literally pulled a guy's skull and his spine out once for my bare hands. Talk about bullshit stories. If anyone else has anything to chat, I guess I can go sit down. And Huntress's eyes go red behind her mask, and both Trapper and Wraith take their seat. They know when it's worth fighting and when it's not. Well, I hate to break it to you, but tonight's story is a scary. It's romantic. Too late now, though. I was selected, and now I'm going to tell my story. I call it The Prisoner's Kiss. You notice that Huntress and Wraith are both sharing a giant tub of popcorn. Nobody offered you popcorn? It was a dark summer night. Warm rain stepped from the sky like blood from an old wound. Detective Hada, a celebrated investigator, a renowned hostage negotiator, was called to the scene of a strange occurrence, unlike anything she had ever seen before. When she arrived, the scene was chaotic. Crowds had begun to gather. A dozen of other officers were doing anything they could keep their curious onlookers away. But how could anyone resist wanting to know more? For there, in the middle of a busy market, had appeared a giant boss, strange, alien in its appearance, and massive in size. No one knew how it got there. How was it delivered? Built on site? It's such a busy area. How could something like this appear? A mystery it was, as it conjured by magic. But this was no illusion. The huge box was very real, and someone was trapped inside. Spirit pauses her story to look at from a face to face with each audience member. She has no expression, but you feel her vibrate with energy. She's in her element. Help me, cried someone in a box. It was a man, terrified, trapped, imprisoned, his voice trembling. By now it was if every detective in the city was there. Looking for a strange structure up and down, inspecting on every side. It didn't make sense. There was no doors, no windows, no fasteners or seams. It's completely solid and much too heavy to move by hand. Solid, that is, except for a single small slit, just enough to see the bloodshot eyes of the prisoner trapped inside. I don't know what happened. I woke up, and there it was. I was so scared. Please help me, cried the man as if pleading for his life. No stranger to tense situations. Detective Hada comforted the man. She used her training to calm him down and buy time for the other investigators. However, time did not bring clarity, only anxiety, as the night dragged on with no progress opening the box. And as the night grew longer and seeping rain puddled on the ground, the man inside grew more desperate, more sad and lonely, more pathetic and in need of help. But Detective Hada was not help at all. Powerless to save him, guilt began to weigh on her, like it had never before. Don't let me die in here, the man begged. Don't let me die alone. Stay calm, instructed Detective Hada. Not alone. And here? Hell, half of the town is here. We're all in this together, and we won't let this be the end of your story. Looking through the narrowest of the passageways, Detective Hada watched her own reflection in the tear-filled eyes of the strange, sad prisoner. Together, they both wept in silence at the hopelessness in the moment. Promise? Asked the man. Promise that I'm not alone? Yes, she promised. I do. A simple pledge. She felt an instant connection that what she had never felt before. Not to her family, not to her friends, not to any of the other hostages that she had worked so hard to free before. And so, when the man's eyes closed and backed away, it didn't scare Detective Hada. For she knew he would return, and he did. Pressing his lips up to the narrow slit in this horrible puzzle box, repeating his question again, steam flowing from his mouth as he asked, Promise? Promise that I'm not alone? ... Yes, she promised. I do. And pressing her palms against the cold outside of the box, without truly knowing why, Detective Hada leaned forward and placed her own lips up on the opening, letting her breathe creep into the strange structure, allowing her warm lips to fall on this man's. It was a gentle kiss, a moment of compassion. She could feel this brief contact, the beating of her heart, pulsing blood through every inch of her body, matched beat for beat in a soft touch. Thank you, the man said, no trace of fear remaining in his voice. And he backed away into the darkness, disappearing in a single moment of eerie calmness. Get back, yelled an officer, suddenly thrusting himself between Detective Hada and the boss, breaking a silence that could soon be filled by cacophony of rolling gears and clicking latches. Sympathy of mechanical activity happening all at once. Something had triggered, as if an unseen lever pulled, and the other side of the giant box began to slide open. Detective Hada gripped her flashlight tightly and pushed forward into the foggy interior of the giant box. Her feet splashed in the puddled rainwater, her heart racing as she swept her light from side to side. And that's when her eyes landed on a man, or at least landed on what should have been him. There in the corner of the box was a pile of pieces, like parts of a doll, almost pulled apart, or perhaps that's just how Detective Hada had to think of him in that moment to survive. A collection of segments, limbs, pieces, disconnected from one another, cleanly severed and placed into a neat pile. And on top of that pile, a head, a cold, pale, eyes open, lips, and icy blue. Spirit stares at the fire, her own expressions lifeless, her lips blue. Tears fall from her chin and soak into the sand at her feet. You're blown away by the story, and it's safe to say that you're not alone. Everyone else is looking into the fire or up at the sky, anywhere but that spirit. It was you who chose her. You initiated this heroine tale. So sad, so creepy, so sensual. She really went into great detail when it came to describing that kiss. Too much detail, and now no one is sure how to act. White and Claudette are staring daggers at you. You have to do something. This game was supposed to be a light-hearted romp. Please. I said do something. Say nothing and hug her. Cool story. Stand up and start one of the slow claps. You stand up and clap once. Then after a beat again, slowly build in a dramatic group clap. Wraith stands up next to you and claps. No one else does. Spirit floats off as the clapping slows to a halt, which happens almost immediately because it was slow to begin with. Usually there's so much more disturbing. More disturbing than that? No. You don't regret picking Spirit to tell the story tonight, but you have to admit to yourself that even on the strangest day of your life so far that you can remember, at least you still weren't prepared for that. On that note, everyone decides it's time to take a break and split up for a little bit so that they can all have a moment alone before bed. Everyone leaves and you're alone by the fire. The only thing you hear is the ocean and slow lapping against the shore. This is nice. A true moment of peace and tranquility that lasts for all 7 seconds because the trickster shows up and he's blaring his latest song. Now, I accidentally skipped the last part, but he said, "Hey baby, you mind if I join you?" And then it's the next part. He doesn't wait for an answer. I know you've been hearing from these guppies all day, but I want you to hear something from a big fish like me. Something special for those in charge of this island. Don't you want to hear? I am the ultimate catch on this island. The only lobster in the ocean of sardiness. No one can give you what I can. You just have to find me. Come find me, baby. Trisha leaves. You're a bit confused about what to make of this cryptic clues, but you aren't going to get any time to yourself to think about them just yet. Spirit approaches you. You know, I was watching you while I told my story. I could tell it was having an effect on you. This fog that follows me around, I could feel you breathing heavily, taking me in. You and I are both absolutely flabbergasted at the piece of information. Legit. You learn something new every day. Even when you're a narrator. You're doing it again, right now. You need to calm down. You should come to the hot tub with me. Ooh. Dripping in a hot tub with the Spirit? You've come a long way in a single day. I'm not saving you. I'm not saying you should follow her. An offer like that. Just don't forget our little talk. And I will see you on the next episode. We will leave this spicy adventure for part 3. See ya. Wait a minute. There's no announcement here. But there is. Me. You got your Mudgear's friend? I told you to get lost. Don't you see? Lost isn't what I am. So are you. But I know the way out. I got a map back to my secret lair. Literally. And figuratively. Yeah, I know the difference. That's why you should ditch Spirit and come spend the rest of the night with me instead. He's becoming a little weird. You got a secret lair? Damn it. Who said anything about a secret lair? I said I've got sap in my secret wet hair? There's a flap on my secret chair? Don't change the subject. Don't ask me what he's talking about. You're trying to make a mess of the first nice thing I've had in I don't know how long because it's not even clear what year it is, but in a while. I'm not about to be ditched for the likes of you. It's not messing up things like I keep trying to tell you. It's a Stain Island. I've come to accept the difficult truth. What's happening here? Well, I'm convinced that that's our fate. It's not anyone else's decision. simply the way it will be. There's no use of fighting it. What would you even know about fighting? All you know is hiding your spooky little secret hair and crying like a baby while ringing your little bell. So don't tell me what I can and cannot fight back against. I was born a fighter. The dragon lives inside of me. I can't not fight, even when all I might want to do is hide. Don't you see this giant hat? It's a metaphor. If I do have a fate, my fate is to win every fight that comes my way. Got it? Folks. Oh, you hide. I've seen you hide. You do a little your phase walking routine. What do you call that? It's basically cloaking. And we all know that cloaking is a type of hiding. Folks. You cloaked, I don't cloak. I'm not a cloaker. I phase walk out in the open. You just can't see me. You have no idea what they're talking about, but this sure sounds like some video game community forum thread millennia. Minita? If there ever was such a thing. Not that you know about that, either. It sure doesn't seem like the Light and Claudette are going to stop this, so it's on you. I think I was brought here to make this decision, so I'm going to do that now. And I choose... He's being a psycho. We gotta... I'm glad we didn't... He's becoming like the very, like... He's being like... He's coming off like a little bit jealous. And interrupting all the time, and I think... That might become a problem later, but... When it comes down to it, neither of these two seem easy to love. I mean, damn. Spirit literally has broken glass shards sticking out of her, but she has a certain charm to her gloom. Spirit and I were actually having a nice time. Besides, if it's my fate to end up on this island, well, hell with fate, really. And don't take this the wrong way, Wraith, but the amount of awkwardness you packed into a single day, no wonder why you're so... Oh my god, we're insulting him. All that second guessing yourself must burn a lot of calories. No offense taken. It's... Yeah, okay, it's true. I can be a little awkward, I guess, sometimes. Right, so I'm going to stick with Spirit. Spirit breathes a silent relief. I've got enough revenging to do without killing you and Wraith too. Spirit walks you around the corner to show you something. She discovered in this place and knew was meant to be connected with her journey. A cherry tree. It is just a small sapling, but it has begun to sprout flowers. It doesn't make sense to see a cherry tree here, in this place. It also doesn't make sense to see a ghost in black clothing suit, so you just accept it. As Spirit steps up to the tree, a cold breeze pulls off some petals, and they come cascading through the air around both of you. Do you know the meaning of the cherry blossom? They're beautiful, but also quite symbolic. Of course, like all good symbols, their meaning is pretty complicated. What do you mean? To you? For many people, being among cherry blossoms is like being at a celebration of life. People travel a great distance just to be near their vibrant beauty. However, as beauty as they might be, they aren't magical. They're simply flowers. They quickly die and fade out again, or fade away. And for this reason, they also have a symbol of the fleeting nature of life, our fragile morality. In a way, it's the specter of women death that calls attention to this special moment, to see and appreciate life. How does that duality make you feel, Nels? Empowered. I acknowledge that life and death are a cycle that always has to be given me peace. Accepting the fleeting nature of life, like the beauty of a flower in bloom, allows me to appreciate the moment without being too hung up on what comes next. As you explain, Spirit's face begins to look sad to you. You're not sure why. It's not the happiest topic, life and death. But why should that matter? And then it dawns to you. Spirit has been trapped in this ghastly state of death with no hope of cycle back, no rebirth, or moment blossom in life along gone. That scary time of death and decay that comes after the good part. That spirit's eternity. I feel like an idiot. I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't even thinking about you. You were just answering from the heart. I can't let that bother me. My priorities are not the same. I have my mission. Once the fallen cherry blossom represented the souls of samurai warriors, those with noble characters, those who did not fear death, those who were killed in the greatest sacrifice to honor their emperor. Their lives were short, but their purpose gave them beauty. These warriors saw death coming, but they never despaired. They stood and faced it. They held their swords and struck down their fear. But, despite the samurai spirit that lives in me, in my noble bloodline, my life has ended, but my death continues to stretch on. The cycle is frozen. The cherry tree? It's not real. Though its petals fall, they soon replenish. As it is, if it was installed here by somebody. You watch as spirit chooses her words very carefully. By something with no respect for balance of life and death. Sorry to interrupt. You know we don't believe you, right? Yep. But this is time we've got a really good reason. It has nothing to do with us being manipulated by an unseen force. Because that's definitely not happening. Nobody accused you of that, but okay. We're just here to tell you that it's time for dinner, silly. Get it while it's hot. I guess it's time to go, or whatever. Thanks for spending time with me today. I enjoyed it. Me too. What a day you've been having. I can see it all written over your face. You're shining. And that's not just the remaining extra sweat from spending the afternoon according to Psycho Killer. No. You are really feeling this whole romantic experience. Don't worry. I'll keep your dirty little secrets. But enough gentle ribbling. It's time to get back to business. All the advertising singles have arrived for dinner. Food interest her. Wraith is here too. We're not going to do the gag where we trim all of them in this stream at the same time again. Just believe me. We're all here. We're all just as sexy and demented as you can remember them. With your love on the line, everyone is being very careful not to offend you by saying the wrong thing. Congrats, by the way, on getting this far. I'm as surprised as you are that these four are falling for you. No, not just because of your personality, but because you just met them yesterday. However, since Trapper seems like the biggest one-shot to end up holding onto your heart, he throws caution to the wind and he speaks up. It's a pretty small consolation prize for being the least love killer on Murderer's Island, but hey, let them know this one moment in the spotlight is the least we could do, and heaven knows they won't do any better than that. If I'm dining solo, I'm eating what I want. And you're all eating it too. Lamb shank. Rare, salt, pepper, no sauces allowed, and serve it with one single piece of broccoli so Wraith won't complain. I like broccoli. Gives me horrible gas. Oh, I don't like that. Buddy, wait until you smell what the rare lamb does to my bowels. It's awesome. Dinner will be served shortly, but certain power brokers would like to know about your day. Would you like to share your day with the rest of the group? You've had an interesting day, that's for sure. But how would you describe it to the others? Say too much or too little could affect your standing with the group. Okay. But just don't sit there saying nothing. Nothing is not an option. We don't want to accept anybody. I don't remember what koi means. So quiet, reserved, and shy. Just do it. It wasn't really a date, more like two people avoiding everyone else, choosing to be alone. But avoided relatively close proximity to each other. That's exactly right. I couldn't have not said anything of value better than myself. Spirit is clearly happy with the way you portrayed your date. No surprise. She doesn't like people getting into her business. That was the right play. Dwight and Claudette bringing out dinner. Everyone eats in silence, but no one trusts anyone now. They're all very tired. Oh wait, no sorry. That's a dreary, supernatural horror thriller set in Antarctica. Now the charming parody Dayton Sim set in, an undisclosed tropic paradise. Bon appetit! What you mean, bun? No, almost everything we serve has a lot of bones in it. Even the vegetables. Impossible to avoid this on this island. Everyone eats without speaking. Tensions are rising, both of the sexual and deadly varieties. When everyone finishes, Dwight and Claudette come back to clean up the table. They linger around as you pick up your plate, pick your napkin, and dust crumbs off the table. What would you like to say to the servants? Thank them. Your top-notch service is much appreciated. Everyone, if you'd be so kind to follow us to the fire pit, we greatly appreciate it. We've been told something big is going to happen. Something that will change everything. You can go willingly or you can go unwillingly. You have no choice. Tough cookies. Did you have a choice on how you said that, dweeb? Yes, and I immediately regret how I did it. Good. Something needs to change around here. Fire is rebirth. Fire eliminates the soul. I hope this fire isn't too smoky. Smoke hurts my eyes. I have pretty sensitive eyes. I'm also horribly afraid of it. The fire, I mean, not my eyes. Because my childhood drama. Involving fire. But finally everyone starts moving towards the fire pit. If only to get away from the wraiths complaining. You take a seat on a comfortable log. Feeling the fire's heat against your skin, and wait for another killers to take their places. Wondering who will want to tell a story this time. Will the narrator tell a story? I bet they got a stunningly creative mind. Hey, you think? Are they allowed to simply place thoughts in my mind like this? Doesn't seem fair. Everyone makes their way in, but something unexpected happens. Nothing happens. Something almost always seems to be happening here. So nothing is probably not a great sign. Oh, cool. And now everyone is looking at you. So you know, do something. Should I pick someone to tell a story? Should we play charades? Boggle. Well, we were actually thinking, why don't you tell us a story? Wraith points his spine and stab Dana Mullane at you. You duck out of its way, you know what the thing can do. Probably shoots lasers. Try not to bore us. We're just very interested in you. Don't speak for me, Huntress. Now, you can't tell if you're warm from the fire or if it's your nerves heating up. I know the fire is right here, but maybe we could stop talking about all this time. We could start to pretend it's not here and doesn't, threatening to burn us all alive. He's not supposed to hear me. Get out of here, Wraith. Nels, what was about to make an important decision about telling a story or not? Fine, I'll tell a story. Sure, I'm getting to tell a story. Hope it's a mystery. Okay. So what type of story do you want to tell? Adventure. Alright, you liked your Dwayne The Rock... Alright, you liked your Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies? How about some adventure? Now we're talking. It's not my favorite, but I respect your choice and will nod politely. You don't have to say that, Wraith. Just nod politely. Okay, ready? Here goes. I really like to go fishing. Solid hobby. Great foundation for a story, for sure. You pause. Everyone is waiting with bated breath. No pun intended. No, you were kidding. Yes, that's all. That's all I got. God forbid you give the narrator a break and do some of the storytelling for once in your sinking life. Everyone's a little disappointed, but hey, we can't all be Christian Andersen. No, I was kidding. So what type of story do you want to tell? Personal tale? I'll get a little personal now, if that's okay. Those types of tales are the best, and often the most sad. It's a bit of a love story. It's about two strong hunters who meet when they are both try to plunge in the same Willy Wolverine. Or about a deranged killer who makes the only woman who ever believed in him witness the display of shocking violence. Not quite. It's from my parents. We met at a party in college. He was hosting, she'd been dragged out there by friends. Oh. It could have been more different. And yet, as the night went on, they were drawn to each other. She made fun of his taste in music, and he took an interest in her major woman's studies. They were married within 2 months. Bit soon to know if you could trust someone, don't you think? It's so sweet. Exactly. I learned a lot about love from them. You know. If you know, you know. Some people don't need years to get acquainted with people or someone. Love could spark from a look across the campfire. Now you've got their attention. Each killer is furiously attempting to catch your eye from across the fire pit. It's quite alarming, actually. Except for Trister, who has headphones in and is widely playing his own music to drown you out. Okay, that was not a very good story. I don't mean to insult you, but it was actually quite bad. Sorry. But this narrator keeps it real. You can't just end it there. So, who else would you like to hear a story from tonight? You look from killer to killer, trying to decide who might be the most interesting. I hope the spirit don't take this the wrong way. I kind of want to hear a story from the Huntress. Huntress, you seem raring to go. Let's hear from you. Sure thing. My neck of the woods isn't wanting for horrifying mythology. Mother once told me a story of a young man who traveled back home after the war. Which war? Doesn't matter. I just wanted some backstory details to paint a picture. I'll paint you a picture if you want. The man was lost and running out of food rations. He stopped to the rest of the night underneath a majestic birch tree. That's when he saw the woman, naked, skin glistening in the twilight glow. Hot, I'm invested. They sang a haunted melody as they made their way downhill towards the inviting lake. Enchanted by the music, the young man followed the parade of beautiful women until they stopped in a clearing next to the water. They turned to him and smiled. A woman with long red hair stepped forward and reaches out for his hand. The others began to play music. Flutes, tambourines. The melody was intoxicating. The man's feet began to move underneath him. He was dancing. Moved by the magic music, twilight and darkened into the night, and the man grew weary. But when he tried to still his moving feet, he found that he could not. Help! Do not stop dancing, he cried to the nearest woman, a slender woman with green hair. She grew near him, and he saw her features distort into something horrific. She was bloated, an eye hanging from one socket, skin of the color of algae. Aralska? Her true self. You never stop dancing, she screamed at him. She screeched at him. My sisters and I were drowned in this lake by men of your regiment. Consider this your punishment. The man cried out, but it wasn't me. Someone must pay, the Rusalka said, her voice filled with briny malice. And so the man danced and danced until his bones broke and his heart gave out, the dance of death. Silent beat as everyone takes in this macabre ending. But it's not all bad. Rusalkas are also fertility goddesses. If a lady had stumbled across them, she could have blessed them with a faithful womb, and probably some candy for the road. Damn, does she really think that that's a happy ending? I want what that huntress just happened. How was story time? A lot of people like to take pot shots at sequels. But I think every good story deserves a follow-up. When you think it's the end, the sequel is almost never as rewarding as the original. That's why I'm much more a fan of episodic style of storytelling. Knowing it's a series takes a lot of pressure off of any individual installment. It builds a greater sense of community between audiences and creator. Tell me, Nels, if you could delete any sequence from existence, what would it be? Don't answer that. We don't actually care. We're just here to actually make sure that we seamlessly move on to the next segment of the evening. God forbid any small talk get in the way of a romantic Twilight moment. Dwight, I'm going to need you to shut your yap trap. You know that we need to get back to that thing we were doing whenever we're not on screen? Okay. You have fun tonight, and try not to wink end up dead. Did you say the words wink out loud? What kind of double intern are you getting at with this end up dead thing? Dwight is physically incapable of winking, not since the accident. And you do know that all of these people are despicable criminals with double-digit kill counts, right? Well, except for Spirit. She doesn't really belong here. She's strictly a victim. Not a perpetrator. English is hard. No wonder she's pissed. Did I hear someone trash talking Spirit? Deal me in. What do you say we take this talk to the hot tub so I can soak this bod while I roast that ghost with some killer hot takes? Please, enough talk of burns. Things that are lit or getting blazed. It's enough that these activities have to be set next to literal fire. Must I be surrounded by figurative flames as well? What if we turned and ran as far from this place as we could? Shoo and me. I know spiny legs. You're probably tired before you got too far. If it's running away to someplace more secluded than Naos is after, you should obviously join me. Have you seen these legs? Pure power. Not that my walk speed would really reflect on my giant stature, but that's because I choose to move slowly for stealthy reasons. It's my own choice and it's completely illogical. Why is everyone so obsessed with comparing themselves to each other and creating drama? I'm so over all of that. Don't you get it? Society wants to trick you into fighting with each other so that the corporations can swoop in and sell you fake solutions to all of your fabricated problems. I'll be sitting in the shade and drinking something locally sourced while thumbing through a public domain novella printed on recycled paper because I refuse to play their games anymore. It's like she's actively trying to be as unappealing as possible. Does it really turn someone on or just me? Despite Trapper's insatiable appetite, it seems his attention, along with the attention of everyone else, is still on you for the moment. You could, I don't know, just pick one of us maybe. We could all move on with our lives, or, you know, special projects we might have going. You heard him. Who it would be? Who will you head off with an evening activity? I'm just saying, you might not get a ton of chances on a date around like this before your time on a murderer's island comes to a close. And no, I'm not satisfied with that name either. But with this streaming reality TV dating show boom happening, it's pretty much all of that wasn't taken. Which killer will you pick? And yes, we're going to exclude Trickster because that guy. Spirit. Oh, she picked me? Yay. Sorry, that was rude of me. I dispense phoniness, so I should be honest with you. You should make interesting company, and I love the idea of winning over these other killers at all costs. Even though I hate the game and price. But I had a long day. Floating subvertedly, expectations, grinding my teeth as I imagine sweating, or imagine sweet revenge takes a lot of me. So don't stop bothering your A game, alright? It might seem like I hate everything, and getting really to know who I am is an impossible task, not worth trying, but too bad. You won't know unless you search deep inside yourself and bring everything you've got. Or just say the exact same or exact right thing at the right time and melt my cold heart into an instance. I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules here any better than you do. See you at the bar, I guess.